red button.
Don't even bother sitting. I said we're going to be standing up. Okay, everyone, we will call this meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Lemak,
Here.
Dr. Lee Corns. Here. Mr. McKenna,
Here.
Mr. Dice,
Here.
Mrs. Ling,
Here.
Mr. Spadaro,
Here.
Mr. Stepanovich,
Here.
Mayor Sinan.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mr. Nestico, do we have any unlisted amendments this evening?
There are none for this evening.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to our consent calendar items, which are just the minutes from April 19th. Any questions or concerns about the minutes? I have a motion, please.
Make a motion to approve the minutes under consent calendar items. Second.
Thank you, Jamie and Jamie. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay, comments by the mayor.
Thanks, Mr. Dice. Speedily bringing them up. The spring gardening series continues. Next is Tuesday, May 23rd at 6:30. The Inviting Pollinator-Friendly Gardens of Westmoreland County. And the last one is Attracting Butterflies to Your Garden, Tuesday, May 30th at 6:30 p.m. You need to register at murraysvillelibrary.org or call the library at 327-1102. Next, we have the Easy Like Sunday Morning Yoga at Townsend every Sunday, May 14th to September 10th. $10 for visit, 10 a.m. to 11. You have to, cash or Vimo will be accepted. I think this is just show up. You don't have, no, they do want you soulspace.love to register and view teachers and type of yoga class each week that's available. Next is presented by the Unlock Your History and the Heinz History Center, The Germans to America. It's Monday, May 8th, 6:30 p.m. Again, Murraysville Community Library, murraysvillelibrary.org to register, please. May is Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. Just be careful out there. It keeps the emergency services busy on the weekend because they generally have an incident with a vehicle somewhere in the county every weekend. Murraysville Cleanup Week, May 8th through May 13th. Pleasant Valley Landfill. Municipality of Murraysville's residents may take items to the Valley Landfill on PV Road. May 8th through the 12th, again, 2023, during the hours of 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. and Saturday, May 13th, 2023, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Permit passes are available at the reception desk here at the Municipal Building, 4100 Sardis Road. And lastly, the Spring Craft Fair is being held Saturday, May 6th, 2023, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Murraysville Community Library, 4130 Murraysville. Free admission, over 40 vendors will be there. And that concludes my announcement.
Awesome, thank you, Mayor. That brings us to comments by the Chief Administrator, Mr. Nestico.
No comments for this evening.
Awesome, thank you. That brings us to community input this evening. Thank you, Rideau. Okay, we will start with Rick Fisher. Is that you? Or no, you're up. You can just go, sir. I figured you were
sorry.
Rick. Just state your name and address for the minutes, please.
Okay, my name is Paul Costco. I am a county commissioner candidate on the Republican side. I am doing a tour as far as the 65 communities that we have here in Westmoreland County. I just want to thank all of you as far as for our service to our community. And I want to pledge to you, I don't care what party you are, Democrat, Independent, or Republican, when elected, as far as on the county commissioner level, I will be serving everybody and all of you. Like I said, as far as with, I'm out here basically to listen and learn, and we're going to all 65 communities, and tonight is Murraysville. So thank you for your service. Afterwards, I'll pass out my contact card, and I wish you all the best, and God bless you all. Thank you so much.
It's wonderful. Thank you for stopping by, sir. Best of luck. Thank you. Okay, now I think we'll do Rick Fisher. No, no problem.
A few months ago, you made me Murraysville representative to the Westmoreland Heritage Trail. I just wanted to give you a quick update on the trail, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
We have counters at Saunders Station, Export, and Athena Drive. And from mid-December through mid-April, we had 33,000 counts. A lot of those are the same people, of course, but we're happy with that kind of participation on the trail. The average was 2,080 per week. And in just the warmer week of April 10th, we had 6,200 counts. So we're pretty pleased with the trail usage. Some things we accomplished over the year: we replaced a deck on the Trafford Road Bridge, added gravel to a couple of the parking lots, and that was Murraysville, it's one of those, thank you, and Salem Township. We installed a new storage container near the Sewerage Authority. There was a kiosk added in Slickville. You probably noticed a 750-foot trail extension in Export. We had a contractor hired by Westmoreland County to clean out some ditches. So we received a grant for the purchase of a utility vehicle, which we hope to receive soon. We also received a grant for partial purchase of a tractor. We had some skid loader time donated to clear some unimproved trail corridor near Springview Court. The question we get asked the most, as people on the board, is what's going on with the gap between Delmont and Export. So we have the land east of Route 66 under contract. It's held up by PennDOT review of the Dollar General parking lot, I think. The land west of 66 to White Valley Social Club, I believe, is procured. An agreement with the White Valley Social Club is under review, so we're going to use some of their property. The remainder of the route to Export is a challenge, so that's got a ways to go on that. Some other improvements on the trail: there's a bridge proposed from Monroeville Valley Park to the trail. A few other numbers: we have over 3,200 Facebook followers, 425 trail members, which is pretty good for a trail, for any trail. The Gap portions of the Gap Trail beat us on that, but that's a much older and more popular trail. We had over 3,000 volunteer hours last year, and 80 hours for trail ambassadors in March. People who just are on the trail and kind of watch over things. We had 10 trail events last year. There was GLCX racing, Slickville Days, Murraysville Trick or Treat, Witch's Broom. We have something coming up soon. On Saturday, June 3rd, we're having a Westmoreland Heritage Trail Festival and poker run at Trafford's BY Park. So we're looking for participants and sponsors for that, of course. The plan is to move that every year, maybe next year in Export and the year after in Slickville. So that's about it. Any questions for the trail?
Council? Oh, that's awesome. Thanks so much for stopping by and letting us know. Thanks again for volunteering.
Yeah, you guys do a great job with that.
Absolutely. I use it all the time. Okay, no one else has signed up, but for the good of the order, would anyone else like to give public comment this evening? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to liaison comments and committee reports. Let's start at this end tonight. Jason?
So the library met last Thursday. Actually, maybe it was Thursday prior to that. Numbers are good as far as circulation and programming. They did see an increase in utilities expenses, which I think a lot of this municipality did as well. So they're dealing with that. And they have also formed a committee between the library and the Library Foundation to go on a tour of different libraries in the area to get ideas and see what they may be doing differently.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carl?
Planning Commission meets next Tuesday. The Parks and Recreation Foundation meets on Monday, May 22nd.
Awesome. Tony?
Medic 1 meets in 2 weeks.
Okay. Jamie?
Pension is going to meet again next Thursday morning. In the meantime, we have our quarterly report that's in. Total portfolio returned at 4.48%. stronger quarterly performance, which is helping to lift us a little bit. And have more for you after next Thursday.
Wonderful, thank you. Jamie?
Next school board meeting is this coming Monday. It is a committee of the whole and board meeting. Policy meeting is May 11th and finance meeting is May 24th.
Great. Matt?
Parks and Recreation meets next Tuesday. Really nothing there, nothing else to update except for just, be patient with, we a lot of times had to close the fields here the last week, the parks and fields for all the baseball and softball and soccer and everything. And it's just because the guys did such a great job getting everything ready. And if we let them play on it, in this type of weather, and it'll just be destroyed before the year starts. So
Absolutely.
I know it's frustrating, but Mother Nature's not helping us this week very much. But everything should dry out hopefully this weekend and get back to everything normal.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, it's been a pretty terrible start to May. Okay, looking at our agenda here this evening, we have no workshop items, so that brings us straight to council action items. So I would ask for a motion for 13A, please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve of the joint petition and stipulation of settlement under tax assessment appeal number 4187 of 2020 for the property located on tax map number 49-14-01-0-012, bearing a physical address of 3880 Old William Penn Highway.
Second the motion.
Thank you, Tony and Carl. I guess Wes, is this you? Or Michael?
I can report on this, Mr. Dyson.
Absolutely, thank you. Yeah.
And this is the First Commonwealth Bank building at the corner of Sardis Road and Old William Penn Highway. Catty corner from the Ferry Supermarket.
Yep.
2021, the property owner filed an appeal contesting the assessed value of the property. Of course, joined in the appeal is the Westmoreland County Board of Assessment Appeals, Westmoreland County itself, the municipality, and the Franklin Regional School District. There was a hearing in front of the Board of Assessment Appeals. They did not change the assessed value of the property. The property owner took an appeal to Common Pleas Court. The market value of the property, according to the county assessed value, varies because the ratio changes from year to year, but roughly about 1.4 to 1.5 million. The property owner has secured an appraisal saying the property is worth $475. The school district incurred the expense of getting an appraisal showing the property to be $1.3 million. The school district, the county, and the municipality have all proposed that a compromise value of $875,000 be stipulated to as being the fair market value of that property. It's obviously a compromise, but it avoids the necessity of going through a trial.
Absolutely.
Spending the money on the appraisals, things of that sort.
Yeah, and most of the time in these situations, municipalities just kind of follow the school district, so that makes sense.
Obviously, they're by and far the largest stakeholder in the assessed value of the property.
Absolutely. Okay. Council, questions, concerns?
I do have a question, more educational, is that one, the number seems to be a good number. I'm in agreement with that. Appraisals are anywhere from like 470-some thousand to 1.3 million.
That is correct, Mr.
And they're so far apart.
That is correct.
Are appraisers, are they licensed?
Yes, they are.
And yet we had one that's almost 3 times as much as the other.
They're like opinions, Mr. Stepanovich. Everybody
Apparently.
has one, right?
Wow. I have no more to say other than that just seems crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty baffling.
Obviously greater than 475. We're all familiar with the property, I believe. It's also probably not 1.3 million. It's somewhere in between. That's how the parties arrived at the 875 stipulated amount.
Mr. Long, you say 875. on my sheet, it looks like it's 887.5.
No, it's 875. Ms. Ling.
Yeah,
Is this a typo? Okay. I just wondered which
I
was.
do have 887, 500 in the briefing, so if that number is inaccurate, that may be the number that they were looking at a couple months ago when I did the briefing.
Okay.
And it looks like maybe it slightly changed from that time. I apologize for that.
Thank you.
No, I stand corrected. The proposed stipulation is 887.5.
Okay.
and just to confirm as well, I just pulled up the joint petition, and it is, as Mr. Long just said, 887.5. So, correct, Ms. Ling. That's what we would be approving tonight. Okay. Any other? No, no
No
problem.
problem.
Any other questions or concerns from council? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. It is unanimous. Thank you. That brings us to community development. Can I have a motion for 14A, please?
I'd like to make a motion to authorize advertising ordinance number 1073-23, an ordinance for rezoning of approximately 19.3 acres, tax parcel 49-10-13-0-014 Logan Ferry Road from R1 residential to R2 residential.
Second.
Let's go Jason and Mac on that. Obviously, this was already brought up and discussed. Questions or concerns from council? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. It is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, I just want to give a quick explanation. I'd ask that whoever makes the motion for 14B read it as is, because whenever it comes time to vote, what I'm going to ask everyone to do is either say authorize or deny instead of simply yay or nay. That way we only have to do this motion once. I'll explain it again once we get into it, but for the time being, I just asked whoever makes the motion for 14B, just read it as is.
Make a motion to authorize / deny the rezoning of approximately 36.3 acres located at Klein Hollow Road, Red Zone Highlands, tax parcel 4915050013 from R2 residential zoning to R3 residential zoning.
Second.
Thank you, Jamie Ling and Tony. Obviously, there's been a lot of discussion on this. I'm sure there's going to be some more comments from council tonight, so whoever wants to go first, please begin. Hearing no one, I'll go first. I, thought about this a lot. I think Redstone does a great job. You hear a lot of great things from the people who live there. I can't say anything negative at all about Redstone. That being said, I've received nothing from the public but people asking me, please don't approve this, from the individuals who live in the area. And also just coming back to it again, it is already zoned as R2. That's what it was purchased as. So my belief is that it should remain as R2. And again, it just comes down to what the residents have said they would like. So that's where I'm at. Thank you.
I'll go. I've thought a ton about this. I've looked at it every way possible. And I've kind of gone back and forth in my mind on where I stood with it. So I think that initially when it came, the public was very adamant about the entrance through Arrowhead and whatnot. And kudos to Redstone. They had changed the plans and addressed the issues that a lot of the people in the community had. And they did fix all those issues. So with that being said, though, the one issue I can't get past is in switching this, it has nothing to do with, not believing or trusting, but there's no safety net to the municipality in this. If Redstone decided that they wanted to use the nonprofit and not pay any municipal tax or any tax at all, they could do that. As soon as we rezone this, another company could buy them, or anything could happen. And the minute that's rezoned, there's no control outside of that, or anything for the community. You know, as far as the taxes are concerned, I mean, it's important because when you put 100 and quote me if I'm wrong, but I think 104 units or whatever it is in that building, you know, it's causing traffic, roadways, you know, our sewer system, our water system, mainly our emergency services, fire, EMS, everything. If there would be no tax paid by them, that puts a lot of stress onto the community. So I've kind of looked at it as, do you, trying to weigh the positives and the negatives, and I feel like there's very little upside to the taxpayers of Murraysville for this, and I totally understand why Redstone wants to do this, because I think it's probably the most economical way to build. But they did buy it in an R2 zone, and they knew that going in, so I would hope that they would still want to put something there, and you know, I root that on, but I can't get past the possibilities that could happen and there be no safety net for the municipality or the people in the community.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yep, that's where I stand.
I'll piggyback on both Mac and Dane. I think probably a little bit more from Dane's perspective. I wholly agree with the tax pieces that you're raising and fully agree with all of that. For me, it was really looking at how much feedback we had from the community, an immense amount of feedback, just constant outreach. That's probably half of my largest concern, because I've also gone back and forth quite a bit. My other large concern, and we've talked about this before, is zoning requests in general. We know that we need to look at our zoning, but when I first ran for council, like 8 years ago, what was really important to me was that it's critical for a community to have a good commercial corridor if possible in that commercial base. It's critical for a community to have some high density housing. You need to have a variety, but when I'm looking at our zoning map and where I would like to keep certain types of development, I feel like that's more along the 22 corridor. We've got some mixed use and some commercial development on Old 22, but we're getting, as far as I'm concerned, we're just getting a little too far away at this time to move that to R3. I think that R2 is good, it's solid. I like the zoning that's around it, but that's where we're really heading out towards our much more rural areas of the community, our residential areas of the community. And I don't think that this is the time to shift that to R3, maybe down the road, but I don't think that this is the time. It also stands with me that planning had not recommended approval when they first reviewed this. And I know we've got some great minds there. I think that the concerns abroad across administration here leads me to where I stand.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, I knew I grew up in the south side of Pittsburgh, and at that time, I know the areas of Mount Lebanon, Upper St. Clair, and so forth were like the places you'd like to live as opposed to the city. And I just tend to think, and I guess it keys in with what Jamie just said right there, is that if you keep expanding the, quote, high-rise situation, then it gets more urbanized, if you will. And one thing that so many people have said to me, and I personally think also, is that we have such a good thing going here right now in Murraysville that it's not even a suburb. It's a, how shall I say, rural residential mix with a lot of the benefits with the schools and so forth. So I'd like to keep it that way. So I believe I'm in agreement with the speakers so far.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jamie.
I was just going to agree with everything that everybody said. I do recognize that there is a need for senior living care. My mom is in Concordia right now. She can't walk. I do recognize that there's a need for this. I did want to point out that Planning Commission did forward this to council with a recommendation to not approve. So I just wanted to bring that up. And then also, when I was looking through the rezoning application form, there was an argument made by Redstone in here, which I just couldn't really get past. They took a part of our comprehensive plan and quoted it, stating that, quote, "The nature of who lives in higher density housing, fewer families with children, puts less demand on schools and other public services than low density housing, ... And that's true if that housing development is paying taxes, but they are not, because what happens is when, you know, the more geriatric population moves into a facility like this, you have the turnover, you have younger families moving in, which is going to place a burden on the school district and on the municipality, right, for emergency services. And then you're not getting, so that's like a negative cash flow for taxes. It's a total positive cash flow for taxes when there's nobody putting a burden on the school district that lives there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because they have no children. So when they're moving into a facility that pays no taxes, at 55, I could move there, have no kids. Who replaces me in my home then, as I'm paying no taxes? A family with 4 kids that moves in. And I have 4 kids, so I think having kids is great. But I'm just saying, you know, there's that turnover you have to consider. I don't think that argument is really valid one that they made. So.
Awesome, thank you. Jason?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that I spoke more at length about this on the March 1st meeting and kind of looked at it from an engineering or analytical point of view, and there are some things that make sense. But for me, there's pros and cons, and for the community, I think the cons outweigh the pros, in my opinion.
I agree with most of the comments, so I'm not going to add to it.
Okay. Any last comments, questions, concerns from council?
I'll just say, kind of back to Redstone Highlands has done a lot of great things for the community. We really want you here. We welcome you here. Hope and look forward to seeing what you can do with the property if the vote goes the way that it appears to. Still have a lot of respect and gratitude for you.
Okay. All right, thank you, everyone. As said before, the way we're going to do this is I'm going to ask for Dale for a roll call, and then each individual simply say authorize or deny to cast your vote. And it appears we all understand. So for Dale, could I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Lemak,
Deny.
Dr. Lee Corns,
Deny.
Mr. McKenna,
Deny.
Mr. Dice,
Deny.
Mrs. Ling,
Deny.
Mr. Spadaro,
Deny.
Mr. Stepanovich.
Deny.
Okay, thank you, everyone. It is unanimous. Request for rezoning was denied this evening. We have nothing under engineering or public works. Is there any old business from anyone?
Nope.
Any new business from anyone? Okay, I would note we are going to have a very quick executive session this evening to discuss a personnel matter and a real estate matter. We'll be having no action coming out of that, so we will simply need a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.